At this point, I'd like to talk a little bit about reverse grip. Again, everything we've been doing for the most part so far is standard grip with the knife extending from the thumb side of the hand. Reverse grip is going to be extending from the pinky side of the hand, sometimes called ice pick grip, whatever you call it, earth grip. It's the same thing. If you're holding a knife like this, it's reverse grip as far as we're concerned. Now, the way that we like to do reverse grip is with the edge facing out. There are some people who like reverse grip edge in. There are a lot of different ways of approaching knife tactics. We do this for some specific reasons, which we'll get into. But let's talk in general terms about reverse grip. Now, previously in the MBC series, we talked about the polysuit drill. What we're going to show you is that version of the drill. We'll kind of review it a little bit, and then what we'll show you is how we've adapted that to MBC's targeting methodology and also our focus on stopping power. So if we look at the basic drill, angle one comes in, we check, we cut upward, we hook, and then as this comes down, I'm rolling the blade to apply pressure here, checking the arm, and then cutting through. Now it's Vince's turn. Check, cut, hook. Notice that pressure cut there and the check on the elbow. Beautiful. Check, cut, hook, cut, check, cut, hook, cut. Nice. And the checking on this can be done palm up or palm down. Either one is fine. What you're really doing is pinning that elbow to the ribs right there. I want to look at a drill now called cover and slash. And this really is kind of the core training drill within the reverse grip system of MBC. It's also interesting in that even though it's a core training drill, it does allow us a framework to practice a lot of really useful skill. Many of the applications that typically come out of this drill are totally inconsistent with MBC. And we'll get into that a little bit more as we do it. The good thing is you're still learning a lot of good stuff, especially when it comes to application of improvised weapons. Let's get into the drill first of all. Trainer, always make sure you're training safely with your partner. This is a unique drill in that it is an asymmetrical drill. Everything we've looked at for the most part has been a counter for counter type of thing where everything is symmetrical. You're both doing the same thing at some point. In this case, what we're doing is one person is doing the A side, the other person is doing the B side. So let's call Vince A, I'll be B, just for ease of reference, hopefully. So Vince attacks with an angle one. My initial motion, I'm checking with the back of my hand. And this is one of the unique things about reverse grip. When we looked at standard grip, typically we would cut, then check. With reverse grip, in many cases, what we're doing, in most cases actually, we're checking and then cutting. So we're stopping the limb here, then I'm cutting upward. So we check, cut. Once I run out of Vince's arm, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my hand and I'm going to thrust at his neck. He's going to check. Now at this point, what we've got is Vince is prepped to essentially transition to the other side. The way he does that, he's going to drop his hand down and cut me across the gut. So if we take that from the stop, what we're going to do is create a mnemonic, something that helps you remember what we're doing. He attacks angle one, I check, cut, stick, and he guts. Let's take a look at that one more time. Check, cut, stick, gut. Now at this point, he's cut across, he's chambered for a backhand shot, he's going to come back with an angle two. I pivot my entire body to come to this side for the check. This is really important. In a lot of cases, people try to stay facing this way and check over here. I have no structure to be able to support that. And a lot of what I'm learning out of this drill is the ability to turn my body, get my shoulders parallel to his forearm, which we've talked about before as part of the checklist for the meet. So I pivot this way, I check. Typically, we're going to check with the back of the arm this way. You'll see sometimes we may end up checking with the palm, but try to err on this side for learning purposes here. So there's my check. We're going to follow the same exact sequence. Check, cut. So now I'm coming upward, trying to clip those flexor tendons from underneath here. I go to stick him now. I'm throwing an angle one at his neck. He drops down and he guts me. So that's basically one cycle of cover and slash. The drills in MBC are designed to be a dynamic training methodology, and the ultimate goal is to create what we call the chess game. What that means is you learn the individual drills, and then in your spontaneous practice with a partner, you learn to flow back and forth from one drill to the other, to introduce selected elements of one drill into another drill, and be able to keep up. You're imposing your will on your partner, he's imposing it on you, and what you have is a controlled framework as far as what you're doing, but at the same time you have great spontaneity. A lot of people say, well, you just need to get out there force on force and train. The problem with that, when you're just beating the snot out of each other, is that you don't have any training methodology. You're not isolating any skills to actually develop anything. You're just beating the snot out of each other. If you take it to a point to where things become spontaneous enough to really challenge you, then you're actually developing some skill, developing some reflex. Then when you take that into a force-on-force environment, you're going to be a whole lot better. So let's take a look at some basic examples in reverse grip of how we can combine drills. First of all, let's look at Hubud. Now for you fans of reverse edge out there, one of the things to mix into this, if I have my edge facing forward, our favorite version of Hubud this way, just as a little aside, cuts the flexor tendons right here, so you can add that in. That was just a bonus. Okay, so we're going into Hubud here. Anytime I have an index on the outside of this hand, I can turn this into trap and roll. Now from trap and roll here, I can go back into Hubud if I want to. Let's say that I swing this around. As soon as I throw a little bit wider, Eric didn't miss a beat, and he's into cover and slash. I could add in elements of pala-suit on angle 1 and angle 2. Anytime I run into an angle 2, that can take me back to trap and roll. Back into Hubud. I can roll around here, come wide again. As you can see, you can mix and match quite a bit. I'm not telling Eric what's going on. Basically, I was kind of driving that in the dynamics of the entire thing. He's doing the same thing to me, and you can see how quickly it can be very spontaneous. Now, as we did with the standard grip applications, we're going to go from angle 1 to angle 3 and look at the similarity. Again, a lot of what MBC does is look at those common body mechanics, try to build on knowledge you've already got, and build on similar things instead of throwing different things at you all the time. So if we look at the angle 3, the initial motion on the angle 3 is going to be just like we did with cover and slash, and it's basically that meat for the angle 3, pivoting into that. We'll show it from this side, and we'll show the other side as well. Once I've done this, what I want to do is now pala-suit and get to the outside. Once I've got this arm moved far enough, now this check comes in, I'm stepping in and plowing through both of those legs. Again, I've got the option of the foot trap and adding in the brakes as well. If you get the cut right, and if you think about this, typically what we look at, we've talked a lot in the Practical Unarmed Combative series about 60 and 90 degree angles. 60-degree angle here, stepping my body forward. That's just going to dump full body weight into my arm, so I'm cutting with my whole body weight as I go through, and Vince can definitely attest to that. So again, the 3 comes in, we pivot and cut, we hook back, boom, step through this way, and again, we've got the stomp to add into that. Let's do-si-do and show that. So again, as he comes in, pivot, hook, bang, step and cut right through. Now if we turn back for a sec, I'll show you a couple other options as far as what we can do with the legs, just so you're aware of those. Once we've got this here, we hook. Once I've passed this and I've got this elbow monitored, I can turn this immediately into a thrust into this leg here. So I can thrust here, comma cut that, and plow through that quad if I want to. That would allow me to go off in that direction if that was my avenue of escape. The other option is, again, angle 3 here, boom, I stick this one and then plow that one and still break it. Which one's right? Yes.